Hey everyone, appreciate you all being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMA session. Today we have a project called Republican Coin. It is a politic coin aimed to raise values and awareness to the Republican Party in hopes of getting Donald Trump elected coming up here, be the 47th president. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome David from the team. David, if you can start out introducing yourself, talking about your team, and giving us a bit of insight into your background experience.
Thank you, Seattle. Thank you for having me here. And I am very excited to be in this amazing USA Crypto Group AMA and talking to all of your community about our wonderful project, Republican Coin. So my background is I've been in crypto for about 3.5 years, came from traditional business as an entrepreneur and a consultant across a lot of industries. I've had businesses in 4 different continents. All of them were successful, I'm happy to report. I've consulted companies like Apple Computer and Universal Studios. I was in Hollywood for quite a long time. And primarily I consulted in new project development, new product development, and typically I would be brought in when there was a problem. So I'm a problem solver type of a person. I'm great at taking a lot of different elements and reimagining them and repositioning them and then help them to become more presentable to a target audience. Got introduced into crypto or to crypto by a good friend of mine. I had a business in Hawaii and we were looking to put together a social media platform, and he was in the crypto industry. He owned the Hawaii Bitcoin franchise. So he actually had ATM machines in Hawaii where you could exchange Bitcoin. And I knew nothing about it. This was 2015. And he said to me, man, this thing's going to be huge. And at the time, I was all over the world doing all this business. And I listened. And he wanted to integrate crypto into the social media platform that I was developing. And we weren't able to do that, but we became really good friends. And then in 2017, he said to me, hey, man, I'm going all in on crypto. I'll get back to you. And when he did get back to me about 2 years later, he was extraordinarily wealthy. And I said to him, what are you doing? Talk to me about this. And he said, man, I'm going to fly out, meet you, and I'm going to train you on what is crypto. And so he did that, and he launched a project, and I helped him to develop the project, and it was sort of on-the-job training. And when I finished working on that project, this is years have passed at this point. But when I finished working on the project, literally the day that I finished, I got a phone call from a friend of mine in London, and he said, what are you up to? I said, man, I just worked on this crazy crypto project. I'm learning all about crypto. And probably 15 minutes later, I said, hey, man, by the way, why'd you call me? He said, I'm in crypto, and I want you to come in and be my partner so we can consult crypto projects. So that was 3.5 years ago. And my buddy John, I joke around and say that he's the reason why I'm in this crazy industry. But he brought me in, and since that time, we've been consulting crypto projects, helping people to kind of understand how to turn an idea into a sustainable project or business. And it's been an amazing ride. We work with a bunch of projects, John, many more than me, but we've worked with dozens of projects, some of them officially, some unofficially. And along the way, we've had an amazing ride. I've also an investor. I own a ton of tokens and a lot of different projects. But I've come to love this industry. And I asked John, why did you want me to get into crypto? And he said, your skill set, your enthusiasm, your sharpness, your ability to work well on your feet. All of these things will be assets for you in the crypto industry. And he's absolutely right. So what we do is, we go around and we engage in projects, and occasionally there's one where we go, you know what, this thing, the team, the idea, the timeliness aligns with us perfectly, and we jump in. And so this is what happened with Republican Coin, right? We aligned with the team, the idea, the feelings behind it, ethics, the morals, and we came in and helped to build a plan to grow this project into a very, very large project. And along the way, and more importantly, to build a platform that can create change, the change that we all want to see in the world. So that's a bit of a long background on how I got here and what's happening.
Appreciate the introduction there, David. Wow, yeah, you do have an extensive background, not only in crypto, but as well as being an entrepreneur as well. And I think those are the skill sets that are very needed in the space, right? Whether, there may be some differences between Web 2 and Web 3, but the
Yep.
fundamental skill set as far as entrepreneurs goes, they're the same, right? You got to be, like you
Correct.
said, quick on your feet. You got to have that ability to think, analyze, and just get things done, right? So those are the same
Right.
fundamental skill sets.
Definitely.
Awesome introduction there. All right, David. So before we move on to the basic things and when it was launched, etc., what makes you decide to create a Republican coin?
Great question. So we are all aware of the eroding ethics, morals, and things that are going on. And, the U.S. is the center of the world. So as the U.S. goes, the world goes. So people ask me, well, is this aimed at America? It is, but it's also aimed at the entire world. These are all of our issues. We can see that when wars happen, maybe the U.S. is the lead, but they're pulling all the countries into these wars, right? When economy starts falling in the U.S., it reverberates around the world, right? I'm in Asia right now, and believe me, whatever happens in the U.S. comes all the way over here. So everyone needs to be concerned. I used to be a Democrat, and I always voted Democrat up until the first Trump election when I didn't vote, right? Because I was so confused by what the Democrat Party was doing and what they put forward. And I was seeing that my ideas and my values were changing. So I left the party and I became an independent. And an interesting thing happened. I got a chance to back away, and rather than just be rah, 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 rah Democrats, just kind of do what an independent does, which is look at the issues, right? Look at what people are talking about rather than a specific party. And an interesting thing happened. I began to see that my values, right, my goals, the things that were important to me, were aligning more with the Republican Party than the Democrats. And since that time, I've just watched it continually move in that direction to the point where, I'm supporting the Republican Party now and happy and enthusiastic about it. And, how we work is we do deep research, right? And so when the project came to us, we asked the same question that you asked. Why this project? It was like, look at the way things are. We're in these needless wars and, we're losing our freedom. I mean, look what the Democrat Party is doing to crypto, right? That's aimed specifically by the Democrat Party to try to kill this industry, but other rights are eroding along with that, right? There's this government overreach, and we're all working harder and getting less, and taxes are going up, and money's being spent poorly, and all of these things. And if you look at the history of the Republican Party was started in 1864 by Abraham Lincoln, who is probably the most voted the best president of the United States. Abraham Lincoln. So the Republican Party was started with two platforms. Number one, to end slavery, and number two, to support small businesses, right? So it was all about entrepreneurship. Now, there's been twists and turns and differences in all of these things, but bottom line is it's about less government. So this project came along, and I said to John, I said, we align with this. This might be the most important project in crypto right now. Why? Because it mirrors the fundamentals of crypto. If I said to you, the fundamentals are personal prosperity, right? Smaller government intervention, right? We don't want government into what we're doing, right? An ability to come together and work together. That's what Republican Coin is. Those are the values that we're in. It sounds like I'm talking about crypto. So what we agreed on, the team and everyone said, we can create a great platform here that sends out this messaging. And I want to be clear. We brought on the Republican ideals because they reflect and create a foundation for us to have these things that I'm talking about: more freedom, more personal prosperity, an ability to do more and gain more benefits for you and your family. That's what this is about, right? So how does that happen? Well, you start you start focusing more on policy rather than personalities. A lot of people do not like Donald Trump. They think that he's too brash, he's rude, he's this, he's egotistical, narcissistic. Maybe all of those things are true. But you shouldn't vote based on personality. You should vote with your interests, your policy. And if you look at the policies, Donald Trump came out, he's taking cryptocurrency, right, as his campaign. He said he's not going to interfere with self-custody wallets like MetaMask, right? If the U.S. government says that you can't have your own self-custody wallets, it means that all the governments around the world are going to be able to see and get involved in everything that we're doing in crypto. So Donald Trump coming out and saying, I'm never going to do that. Number 3, we're not going to have any CBDCs, right? If CBDCs come in, there'll be no stable coins. So we won't be able to exit out of positions that we have in crypto, right? And he said he wants all crypto mining to take place in the United States. So this is a person who's come out and come on the record and is firmly behind growing our industry. And what does that mean? It means us all doing well. It means our families doing well. It means our communities doing well. So we built this project to be a platform to use what crypto has to support some of these initiatives, but also to improve our own personal positions, right? It should do both. It's great that we want to help, but help starts at home. So we want to create a project that helps us as well to do well, and then we're in a position to help everyone else. So that's how we ended up with this project, and that's what this is about. It's about creating a platform that facilitates this. There's a lot of frustration. If you look at the debates and all of the comments, there's been probably 1 billion views of the debates that happen with comments about, what people think, and people are frustrated, right? People want to have an opportunity to weigh in on what's happening, to be a part of their own futures, to be active in their futures. So we designed a platform that helps facilitate that in some very specific ways. So that's why we got into Republican Coin, and that's what Republican Coin stands for.
Very well articulated, and I agree with you 100% in regards to what you mentioned there. How the cryptocurrency and the Web3, the blockchain is, in a way, it does reflect what the fundamental value of the Republican Party stands for, which is free market capitalism, right?
Yes.
Limited government control versus the Democrats, where they believe that government should be all up, dictates how you live your life, etc. So which is the opposite of what crypto is about. And like David mentioned there, it's funny because, David, I was actually in the same path as you. I have not voted for the last 2 years, two elections. The reason because I was on the fence. It got to the point where it was like a crip in the blood game, right? And it was like either you vote for the party regardless, right? And with me, I like to look at the policy, individuals, etc. But I think now and ever before, especially in America right now, and I agree with you how America had an impact, but more than ever in America right now, man, it's like we can see it. I think people are fed up, all these crazy policies are happening. Crazy things are happening right now. It's unbelievable.
It's interesting, Seattle, because you talked about in your city and what's happening, with the fentanyl and the drug epidemics and all these things, and the border. Me living in California and the border and all of that, and people are just streaming across. And I'm a person, I believe in immigration, but you have to take a stand and you have to take a side.
Got to be along.
Because if you don't, it's just absolute chaos. And, I get it. And I get that there needs to be, there needs to be parts that are up for debate. But some things are just pretty simple. And when those things started eroding, one of my friends is a very politically involved Democrat. And when he found out I was doing this project, he wanted to have a discussion with me. And I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know how he was going to come at me. But we had a really good conversation about the issues. And I said to him, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a guy that's gone around the world and built businesses, right? I've seen what happens when you empower people, not the government. When you motivate them and give them the tools to do things, amazing things happen. And he didn't disagree with me. At the end, he said to me, you know what? I respect what you're doing, because here's how it goes, Seattle, right? If you teach people to be entrepreneurial. So look at what we're trying to do. We're trying to pull people together in a platform and then use our collective power and influence to cause change. That's going to cause change. That's going to reverberate into all of our lives. If we see that we can go in and come together and make change in policy, we can make change in anything. So that's what this is about. Rather than having all of this energy, I did an AMA in our group, and there was a guy, an amazing guy who called in and he said, listen, David, I'm with you 100%. In fact, I hate what's happening with the schools. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with. And so I pulled my kids out and I'm homeschooling them, right? Because I don't want them. And I said, listen, I honor what you're doing, but you're still paying taxes. And why pull them out of the school? Let's fix the school. What does it take to fix the school? It takes a group of people who are motivated with resources behind them, going to politicians and saying, hey, listen, this needs to be fixed. Rather than all of us pulling our kids out of these schools, you're going to have to eventually send your kids out into this world. Let's fix the world. We can do it. If we can come together and decide that we're going to take and put a frog on a meme token, and it's going to be worth $6 billion, right? Just because we came together and decided to do that, we could do anything. We just have to have the means, we have to have the focus, we have to have the platform. And so again, that's what we're providing. But the idea is to show people that you're powerful. Let's empower you. And then we can aim this at anything. This the other part that's really important, right? So the idea of it is there are parts that match up perfectly with the Republican Party. And then there are parts that are just about freedom, personal prosperity and all those things that are wider than the Republican Party. And so we're using this as a base to say to people, great, you're frustrated? Let's turn that into action. I'm an action guy. I'm not a complainer. I'm not a guy sitting, these people, and I've never been that way. I'm a guy that says, I don't like this. What can I do to cause change? Right? Not just for me, but for everybody. Listen, Seattle, if I fix my kids, but I don't fix yours, I haven't fixed the problem. You see what I'm saying? If it's just about me, this is what I love about crypto. You got to get in that community. You got to do things that are beneficial to everybody, not just yourself. You benefit too, but it's about the whole community, right? That's how the change happens. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but yeah, you can hear how passionate, how excited I am about this project.
And all good. I can definitely sense the passion for sure. And I agree with a lot of things that you said there, right? I think there's a saying where it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And that's exactly it. But yeah, no, I think for you just to be in here, being here with the community here. Now, if you guys are listening, regardless what party you resonate with, whether that's the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, it does not matter. But for you guys to be here in the crypto space right now, which is limited government intervention, right, which is Web3 is all about, which is the opposite to what Biden is doing. If you believe crypto, you gotta vote for Trump, and that's it, right? And that's one of the biggest thing for you guys who are listening right now. And he openly said it. He's gonna propel crypto. Versus Biden's going to try to stop it. But then we back, man. That's kind of like what David said. Being here in Seattle and just across the country, man, I feel like we're going downhill. I mean, there's a lot of policies right now. It just blows my mind away. I have a couple of gym memberships recently, and I have like 2 memberships at the gyms, and one of the places that I go to is called Planet Fitness. And I guess their CEO came out that, let's say, if I identify as a man, if I identify as how I feel, I can go ahead and walk into the women's bathroom, use the women's bathroom. I couldn't believe it, man. I could not believe it. Now, I do have sisters. I do have friends. I cannot imagine how they go to the bathroom and just a man in there just because how they feel, how they identify themselves, and go in there and in the bathroom with them. What kind of hell,
Yeah.
what kind of world we living in now? Now, with that being said, it's not that I'm not compassionate. I love everybody, but come on, man. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's interesting. And there was a big case in Los Angeles where, this happened at a women's spa, and the women came in there, and there was a man there, a man identifying as a woman, but he was a man. And they walked in on it, and it's like, what in the way? Naked. He was naked in there. And, it's interesting because like you, I am not anti anything. But there's a way to handle these things that don't disrupt everything. And it's being forced on people. And I've said to my friends who support these issues, I'm like, it's going to backfire, right? People are not going to just automatically accept these things. It's the same thing, like a big issue for me is the schools. What they're doing is they're slowly eroding the parents' input. Where now, for instance, school psychologists and psychiatrists can make determinations about your kids, and you can't say anything. And it's interesting because I talked to a friend of mine who's a college professor at University of San Francisco, and he's very liberal. And I said, explain to me how this is a good idea. And he was saying, well, sometimes the home isn't safe for the kids, so they want to make the school a place where the kids feel like they can have a safe space. And I said, but what about the family? Like, wouldn't it be better to put the money and energy into making the home a better home, like training the parents and all of that sort of stuff, rather than saying, well, hey, don't talk to your parents, just come to school. And he said, I didn't think about it. I said, yeah, it erodes the family. Now, I want to be clear. I get that these are complicated issues. But my sort of barometer around this is when you start moving away from common sense, then there's something else going on. And so, we need to have some common sense legislation and some common sense, ideas around a lot of these issues rather than having them. It's also like the border, right? Like, I get it. But, I don't know if maybe you are aware, but because of the policies of the Democrat Party, you've got people coming from all around the world who are gathering at the U.S. border. Like it used to be, people from Mexico and maybe some Central American countries. You have people coming from China who are at the U.S. southern border who are coming in and coming over. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And it's because of policies. Now, am I anti-immigration? No. But you have to set up a system of things that make sense. And the Democrats haven't figured it out. And so it is absolute chaos. It's chaos. And for, guys like you and me, it's unnecessary chaos. And so that's the issue, right? And so what ends up happening? What ends up happening is we end up focusing on all of those issues, and we can't take issues on that affect the world because we're dealing with these common sense issues. So America's lost its standing. The president doesn't travel anymore. When's the last time Biden went to Asia or Africa, all these emerging economies, to put, America's agendas out there that then sets up things for the world? Meanwhile, China and Russia are just flying. So, this is why it ends up being important. Again, not just for Republicans, but for everyone, for our kids and for people around the world. So, yeah, I agree with you, Seattle. It's things that you and I are common sense. And then the other issue with it is when you speak out against them, right? You're speaking out against mainstream media and you're vilified, right? You're called all these names, you're anti this or you're phobia that, or you don't like this, or all these different things. When you just have a different opinion. I want to understand, but I should be allowed to have my own opinion. It's the same thing I say about Donald Trump. I'll give you an example about Donald Trump. So Donald Trump launched Truth Social, right, which is a social platform like X, and he launched about 18 months ago. And it went public, and I may have my numbers a little bit off here, so forgive me for that. But it won't ruin the heart of the story. So he launches Truth Social, and it goes public, and when it does, Donald Trump's worth $1.8 billion. And when it launched, like most companies, the price went down. So his share went from $1.8 billion to $1 billion. if you read all the headlines in mainstream media, it says Donald Trump loses $800 million. Wait a minute. Donald Trump just made $1 billion in a year. Like, that's the story. Now, why is what I'm saying important? Because what ends up happening is we end up getting the wrong story because we want our influence, we want our feelings about someone and a person shifted. That's dangerous for all of us. So one of the things that we're going to do is we have our own newsroom. And the idea with Newsroom is to give people unfiltered news. So you can make your own decisions. I don't want to influence you about what you think about something, but I want you to have real information so you can make your own determination and make a better decision. Without good data, you can't make a good decision. So we want to offer all these things. And we believe by educating people and empowering them, they're going to become more powerful. They're going to become, better. They're going to become more active. They're going to become better crypto holders, right? And more active in the space. You know how it is. Like when you got into space, Seattle, and you learned what you learned about what was going on here, you can't leave. You can't leave this space, not if you really understand what this is. This is the change. Crypto has made more millionaires than any industry in the history of the world. This industry has. And it will make a millionaire out of anybody. It doesn't matter how old you are, what color you are, what race, what sexual orientation, where you live, what school you went to, your family background. It doesn't matter. If you stay here, learn this industry, do your homework, and aim at a few of the right things, you can go anywhere you want to go. So we want to take all of that energy and use it. All right, please.
I agree. I think crypto is amazing. I think for the first time, we may not see another technology than the blockchain again. For the first time ever, it levels the playing field for everyone, whether you are the poorest kid, in the corner of Vietnam or China or wherever, Africa, whatever, Europe, whatever. You literally have the same opportunity as everyone, whether, the guy with a billionaire guy or millionaire guy. You can be a millionaire in the Web3, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, man.
Yeah, here we are. I'm talking to you right now. You over in Asia. Our community consists of people all over the world. I mean, it's literally bringing people together. It's amazing. But I want to go back to what you said regarding the immigrations. I agree with you, and I'm speaking from a guy that actually immigrated from, to the United States as well as an immigrant. I agree, man. We, in United States, we do have a lot of shit's happening. We have vets are in fucking street. We have homelessness. We have drug epidemic, fentanyl problem. And I agree with immigrations, but it has to be legal, right? I mean, that's just common sense. There's no more common sense. It's not because I'm speaking from the point where I'm lack compassion. It's not about that, right? You don't go to sleep with your fucking door open, right? Open and just let everybody go in. There's no difference than if we were to open up the border for everyone, right? It's not about a lack of compassion. It's about taking care of our people, right? There's a saying that says, you can't love others until you love yourself first. Well, we're not even dealing with our problems at home first. So, there's a lot of crazy arguments out there that I don't understand it. I feel like it's common sense, logic. But I feel like, I really feel like, deep down, I feel like, Dave, I don't know, man. I feel like there's another entity out there that's trying to sabotage the U.S. And I feel like the government is literally just bending over because some of the stuff that you're seeing right now, it's like it doesn't make sense at all, like 0 sense.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I think, part of what's happened, and, Donald Trump brought this out, right, when he got in there. So he's a business guy who's used to seeing things happen, right? You don't make it happen, your business doesn't succeed. And he got in there, and there was so much red tape, and there was so much, things that didn't make sense. And when he tried to make sense out of them and said, well, what's this, and how does that work? Like, this issue that he had with NATO, where he's like, wait a minute. We're paying 90% of all of the money to run NATO, and no one's paying their fair share. And when he said that, people in America, politicians got angry with him. And he said, well, hold on a second. Everyone's behind except us. We're not going to put any more money in until everyone pays up. And then finally they did it. And that's common business sense. It's like, how are we going to run this thing when people aren't doing what they say? And when he got in there and saw everything was so inefficient and there's so much corruption, everybody's in someone else's pocket. And so a lot of these things that you and I are talking about that don't make sense, it's due to the way the government is running. And with Donald Trump, people think he's crazy for wanting to come back in. But what he believes, and I believe too, that this second term is going to allow him to shake things up in such a way where people are going to take a pause for a second. Hang on a second. Wait. All right. Because he saw it, and it's so deep that, that's why, like, a lot of these agendas that we're talking about, when you think about the border, right? Why open borders, right? We hear this conversation because the Democrats are allowing so many people in and trying to fast track them to citizenship and then changing it so they now have a voting block. Remember, Seattle, the difference in a presidential election is sometimes 0.5% to 1.5%. That's going to determine the winner. So if you're letting all of these people in, 11 million people this year, and all of a sudden those people get citizenship and they remember it was you that let them in, you'll win every presidential election. So it's all of these things when guys like you and I are going, man, why doesn't it make sense? Like right now, the Democrat Party says that they want to limit the amount of people that are coming in that they don't catch to 2,500 people a day. Right now, they're averaging somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 people a day. Now, let me tell you how it happens, Seattle. The Border Patrol is literally standing there. And people are just running in and they can't do anything. And then they're counting up to like 10,000 and they're like, okay, that's it. That's how it is at the border. It's insane. So, when we see all of these things happening that don't make sense to us and that put us at risk, right? There's that issue as well, because who's coming across? Then, there's always an answer behind it. There's always something else going on that we don't see. And at the heart of it, we shouldn't ever forget, we elected these people, right? We put them in power. And just like we have the ability to put them in power, we have the ability to take them out of power. So again, I want to talk about these problems, but I want to also talk about a solution, not just sitting and complaining. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we come together and make things better for everyone.
100%, and I encourage everyone here. I definitely know exactly what you're talking about, right? And I encourage everyone here. Very easy to listen to the media, and I think the media had also, I don't know, manipulate people, and because you have only a certain group of people that owns all the media, right? So when you own the media,
Correct.
you own the mind of the people. So it's very easy to influence people, and now they have broken people down in ways that that people do not have common sense no more. They don't take the time to analyze things. But I encourage everyone, do not listen to the media. You got to do root cause analysis on every single subject out there. Get to the bottom of it, right? Because it's very easy to listen to the TV and go with it. But that's exactly how they want you to do it. So do root cause analysis on every single subject out there, and you get the truth.
Great advice, man. Great advice.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how this world has gone to the point where there's nobody that's like. No one has any analytical skills anymore. You can't think no more, right? And
it's a combination. I'm sorry. Please finish your thought.
Well, I think that you got to be very careful with that, because almost everything is like being done now in a very subtle way, trying to break down people. Kind of like what you mentioned earlier about your worries about kids at the school, right? The school system, how they think they're providing the place, a safe place, whatever, for these kids to go to. But the problem is that also at the same token is that I don't think that's what the really intention is. The intention is that if you look around, they're literally weakening our kids, right? Weakening men, weakening our kids.
Yep.
Whenever there's a problem, they want you to run away from a problem instead of actually face it and deal with the problem and solve the problem. They provide you a way to pretty much easily get off that problem, right? Maybe in a sense of freaking a place to stay or some monetary whatever incentive, right? Which is bad, and that's exactly what's happening in America right now, because nobody, like literally even men, are becoming weak, right? Nobody thinks, nobody But and they think that, that the Democrats doing the right thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
You eventually pretty much hand over to the government and say, hey, you dictate how my life's going to be. You run my life. And you can't do that. You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. Thank you for saying that, by the way.
Yeah, so I think, and so what the Republican values, right? It emphasizes a lot of traditional values, and I think that we need to bring it back. Family oriented and personal responsibility, right? And when it comes to personal responsibility, and that's what crypto is about. So, so I think I definitely resonate with Trump. I think for the first time in a while. Like I said, I haven't voted for a few elections. I think I'm going to vote for vote this time around here. So I'm glad that you're here spreading this values because I think we're at the point where people had enough, right? People had enough, and I think it's time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, like I said, you and I have a similar path, like coming from the Democrat Party, believing in a lot of what was going on. It's definitely changed. And now I don't even recognize it anymore. And I feel like the time is now, like we need to take action now, right? Because, God only knows what's coming and we can't afford it. We can't afford it for our kids, right? We need to set up a world where they're prepared and they are participating in what's going on. Not having the government, right, this very inefficient, corrupt system controlling, their opportunities and what's going on. And you're absolutely right. The media has dumbed people down. They don't want you to think for yourself. They just want you to go here and listen to some talking head telling you how things are. Don't think about it. Just accept it. Just accept it. It never works out well that way for people when that happens. So, yeah, we want educated and strong people. And, one thing you said to the point of, we're not, the weakening of men, right? It's important, right? They're trying to eliminate competition. We don't want them to compete because, we don't want them to get their feelings hurt. Well, getting your feelings hurt toughens you up. The world is not going to just accommodate you. You're going to have to figure out how to work through things. And that's a good thing. And again, I love people coming together. The support systems should be like they are in crypto. I must communicate with people from 50, 60 different countries. There's no arguments around race, religion, color. None of that stuff comes up because we have a common goal and we know that we have to work together, hard together, help each other to achieve that goal. That's the foundation for things. But again, if we don't have that, then what do we have? We have what you're seeing, which is chaos. Chaos. It has to end. It has to change for all of our sake. Again, starting with America, but resonating out everywhere. You see all of these issues now going all around the world. So, yeah, excited to bring all of this and to help be a part of this change that we're talking about.
Perfect, David. So I appreciate you being here and the values of the Republican values and what you stand for. I think it is necessary at this point because I think we do have 80% of our demographic in our room is actually still in America, and I think me speaking from being in Seattle, but I think I travel through the country and I can see that everything is eroding slowly, and we cannot let that happen. So with that, David, I think we're very clear on your values, what you stand for, and your mission. So let's talk about the coin itself. When was it launched?
Okay, so we launched about 2 weeks ago on Pinksale. And it was interesting because we, you have to plan out these launches, right? And we weren't sure because the market was at 66. John and I, my partner and I are both traders, right? So we were looking and we were trying to determine whether we were going to hit that 66, bounce up, and finally go through, that all-time high at 73. And it was interesting because it was one of those times in trading, like, what you know is that if a price hits a price target consistently, it weakens it every time it hits it. The problem was it was also hitting 66. So it was going between 66 and 71, 72, 66. So it was going to be either up or down. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to get the token out, especially in advance of the debate, the first debate. And so we had to launch. And we went on Pinksale and we didn't know what to expect. And the day we launched, it broke down through 66. And we were going, oh no, because market sentiment was saying, oh, we might go down to 61, we might go down to 58. So what we did was we dug in and we really, really pushed. And we set a low target or a lower target. I think it was 130 Solana was our soft cap for the token. And in our 5-day launch, we raised 1,689 Solana. We were the #1 token on Pinksale while we were there. We were constantly trending somewhere between #1 and #5 for the entire 5 days, mostly at 1 and 2. And when our sale ended, we were trending #1 on Pinksale. So, in this terrible market that we were in, it showed, the love for the project. We launched our Telegram group about the same time. So I think it's been about 13 days. And 13 days ago, we had 13 people in our group. We now have 3,100. And the amount of people coming in every day is increasing every day. Again, we started a Twitter at 0. We're over 1,000 people now, and all of this is organic growth. We haven't bought any bots. We haven't done everything about this project is 100% real, organic, and a lot of hard work being put in. So that's what happened. We did our launch. We saw about a 2.5, almost a 3x from our pre-sale. The project has been going sideways. We're trending between prices right now. But we're really, really excited. There's a lot of enthusiasm around this project. And as I mentioned, with our socials growing so well, and if you go into our chat and see, this is what we're most proud about. You go into our chats and see the enthusiasm around what we're doing, it's off the charts. So it's been a great start. We're all, like I said, we're all very experienced. So, price dips and those things don't affect us. We've got a really strong plan to move forward that includes a lot of different elements. Some of them are crypto-based elements. Some of them are outside of the project elements. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work. I think everybody's on 3 or 4 hours sleep. We've done a ton of marketing. I think this is the 4th or 5th AMA I've done. I think we've done a total of 6 AMAs. We've had 6 YouTube videos done. We've done call groups. We've done Twitter. We've done Doxxed trending. We were Doxxed trending today, top 3, 4, 5 all day. We've done Solana trending. So we are putting in the work and spending the money to grow this project.
That is phenomenal that you guys raised over almost 1,700 Solana in that down market on the bear time. Okay. Good. And we launched around two weeks ago. And I checked out your X and your Twitter there, and it looks like you guys did have a lot of the big calls advocating for the project as well. Yeah. And you guys are still very active on marketing, so that's great. It is like you mentioned, there's a dip going on right now, but it seems like you guys are not giving up on this project, correct?
No, we are right at the beginning. And so let me tell you some of these special elements, right? So as I mentioned, we've done this before, right? We've been a part of projects that have done 9 figures in crypto. And, we're not going to get, shaken or afraid or any of that stuff. We're going to execute on our plan. So part of what I tell people, like I reviewed hundreds of projects. And when people come to me, I always want to know, okay, that's a great idea. What access do you have and what understanding do you have about this specific business, right? So you've got some banking crypto. You want to do liquid staking. Well, what do you know about staking? What do you know about, banking? What do you know about any of that? Who on your team? If no one has any access or understanding, I always advise a project, go get someone who's an expert in that area, right? That's good for you. That's important for your holders. That's respectful to your holders. Get people that know what they're doing. So this is a project with a very experienced team. In addition to that, we're saying to you that we want to connect and get involved with and provide access to the Republican Party. Well, we need to do that. So we launched with prominent Republicans as a part of our project. If you go to our website, you'll see, for instance, Fabian Garcia, who runs a conservative blog and company called Breakaway USA. And if you see some of the things that he's done, he has access to Republicans at the highest level. He can get to anyone, and I mean anyone in the Republican Party. Fabian's come on this project before launch because he loved what we were doing. And we said to him, listen, we need you to help us gain access. So rather than going after a politician that may or may not get elected, we wanted to go with someone who has access to all of those politicians. Fabian was on a television show 4 or 5 days ago, and he had on the Republican Coin T-shirt when he was there. He was at a big convention, and I don't want to give away any secrets, and he was wearing this Republican Coin T-shirt. We got videos of him. So we brought on people to show we have access, to say to people, look, we're able to get to the people that we're saying are important. Now, I want to be clear also about this part about, again, I talked a little bit about the whole idea of Republican and the values, but also it's really also about people, they don't necessarily have to be a Republican. They have to be someone that believes in freedom and the things that do talk about personal responsibility. So when we do these, we have an area that's one of the central areas that we're putting within the project is called Rep Talks. And it's like TED Talks, but it's about these values that we're talking about. So we're going to have people come in that are prominent. It might be a politician. It might be, Fabian did the first Rep Talk last night. So we might have people like him that have access, that have very strong voices. It might be an actor. It might be an athlete. It might be someone that's a business person that just wants to talk about issues. And what we want to do, again, is we want to also train our audience. And while they're learning about, these important issues, they're also learning about some business. Let's have this business guy on, and he's a prominent Republican, or he believes in a lot of these themes. Let's go after Michael Saylor and have him come on and talk about his business and how he got into Bitcoin and why he's such a big believer, right? So Rep Talks will reflect that. And if you know about TED Talks, right? It's massive. It's got billions of views on YouTube. So the idea with Rep Talks is to create these moments that have an opportunity to go viral. And when they do, two things will happen. People will see, and we'll get even bigger people that want to come on Rep Talks. And also, it's a revenue generator. TED Talks generates millions of dollars a year from its place on YouTube. So as this gets bigger and better and bolder, it's going to generate a consistent revenue for the project. So these are some of the aspects as we move from, okay, we've got these ideals. How do we turn that into action? So we focus on, again, starting out with things that prove that we are official, that we know what we're talking about, and then also putting things in the project that allow us to build out the project for our holders.
I love the idea. TED Talks, actually, at one point I was immersed myself in TED Talks.
Oh, me too.
Learned so much from there. And I love that idea of Rep Talk. That's actually very interesting. Now, have you guys started a channel there yet?
We did. Yesterday, we did our first impromptu one. We started a Discord channel that's going to be a gated channel. So you'll have to be a holder in order to ask questions. So where it's a little bit different than TED Talks is we want to give people, like you're doing here, we want to give them direct access to the speakers. So if you're a Republican token holder, you'll be able to ask questions in advance, and then you might be able to even interact with the speakers while they're speaking or after they're speaking. So from a standpoint of the speakers, they'll come into, like Fabian's in our community. So people will be able to ask him, and he'll take that information and he can forward that question on to people who can make a change. So yeah, very, very exciting. And we've got our first, I think, 3 speakers lined up for Rep Talks, and it's just growing and growing and growing.
I think that's a great idea. And I think I definitely can see how you guys can open up to YouTube or other social outlets as well. Just maybe very simple to begin with, where you just go on the street and ask Republicans to give a little, just like what you're doing right now, right? With you and I, little talks about, why they resonate with Republican values, etc. And I think ultimately you can lead to a big channel, and you can invite some prominent Republican figures on there, kind of like TED
Right.
Talk. I definitely see that the vision that the road that you guys can head there as well. Yeah, I love the idea. But that's just one of the futures that you have for the Republican
Yes.
coin, right, David? So let's talk about the social platform, donation arm, newsroom, and the awards den, all that good stuff.
Got it. Okay, so our social platform, as I mentioned, we've got a Telegram channel and we're opening up a Discord channel. What we want to create, and what, my partner John and I, we believe that the special part of crypto is the community, right? And when we talk with people that we're consulting, everything is about community focus, right? These are the people that support you. If you want to see why a project doesn't work or fails or is doing well, there's always like, I listen to everybody, yeah, we did this and we did this and yeah, we did this. And then what happened? And then the community left. That's always the end of the story. And then the community left. So what we're always advocating for is it has to be community focused. So it's interesting because if you look at where we fit, right, we fit under the same heading as meme tokens. Why? Because they're community focused. A lot of people don't like meme tokens. I love them. Why? Because to me, they're the purest example of what crypto represents. A bunch of people coming together and deciding that this is what's important to them. And the project is 100% community focused. So when we talk about a social platform, if you go into our platform, what you'll see is we want to create a different mood, a different attitude. And we want people to feel empowered and engaged. And we want, we're training our minds. It's a process. We're training our minds and getting people to feel like, hey, get more active and become a part of this and give us your ideas. I get so many people who DM me with ideas. Hey, we should do this and we should do that. And we're receptive to all of that. So when I talk about a social platform, we're talking about a real social platform. You know what happens, Seattle? People get involved in these crypto projects and they turn them into companies. The difference between you investing in Apple Computer or Tesla is you're never going to be able to give Elon Musk any advice. You're never going to be able to do that. You just have to sit back and hope that he does his thing. Don't get me wrong, I think he will. But that's it. The difference is when you're here, you can get active. And so from a project developer standpoint, what you want to do is you want to use that community. You don't want to sit there. There's 10 or 11 of us now. We don't want to sit and try to come up with every great idea. We want to go into the community. Hey guys, look, this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? You guys have any great ideas? We've already got amazing, great ideas. So when we talk about a social platform, that's what the social is focused on. It's not just, hey, we got a TG group, we're doing a little bit of this, we're doing that. We got Discord. There will be, the reason we're opening Discord is because there's some things that you can do in Discord, I'm sure you're aware of this, that you just can't do in Telegram, ways that we can reward people and ways that we can engage people. So this is why we're opening the Discord group, and we're encouraging everyone to join both platforms because there'll be some benefits in Discord that you just won't be able to get in Telegram, right? So there's that part. So that's the social platform. I talked a bit about the newsroom and how critical that is. And, we're still looking at how we want to build that, whether it's blog-based or whether it's a channel in Discord. We're working that out now. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to get, again, unfiltered information and have conversations around what you're reading. Do you believe it? Do you think it's important? Is it something that you should add to get into your knowledge base? So there's that part of it. The other part that's critical and that's really important is the donation arm. Like people are looking at this token and people are saying, you know what, it's got like, it reminds me a little bit of Maga, right? Maga was massive and is massive. And some of the things that Maga did, we really, really love. We think that it's a meme token that's utility is donations, right? So you get involved like with this theme, the Maga theme, and they've got a couple of areas where they donate. You donate towards veterans issues, and you donate towards like missing children issues, right? So that's very, very well done. We also have a donation arm, right? And the donation arm is really designed to help holders to find out where they can direct their money. Some of it will go to Republican causes and politicians, but it's important to note, and I say this to people, there are very strict laws, I'm sure you know this, around campaign finance, and especially if it's coming from foreigners. So we want to be careful with that, right? We want to advise people and set up scenarios where if they want to donate or they want us to donate, we make sure that we stay legally, in line with it. But the issue is there are a lot of other things that fit under our ideals and our ethics that we can donate to and invest in. And as a result of that, right, we're going to bring those things in a very safe way, in a very effective and transparent way to the community. And we're going to have people come on and talk about these causes. When we do the Rep Talks, a lot of these people will have their own causes. We want them to also talk about that. And we're going to encourage people to become a part of those things. Again, because we can make change, and we'll follow up on those donations to see what's happening. Right? It's not just throw some money. It's like, let's see how we're causing change here. Right? So again, you keep hearing me with this theme about causing change. Everything that you're seeing us doing is really designed to help cause change and to empower people. And again, as I said earlier, we think that by doing that, when people see that that's happening, they're going to feel more empowered in every area of their lives. It's not just us. It'll resonate. And, it's like I say to people, like, again, when you do that, they can't go back. Like I talk about crypto. You can't be here in this space all the time and look at the world the same way. You just can't. Right? You've been shown that people can come together and make money. I don't mean generate wealth. I mean make money, Seattle. So yeah, very, very exciting. And then finally, we have our awards den, right? We want to reward and award members of our community that make significant contributions to what we're doing, right? We want to recognize you. And, we'll decide how that all happens. And by the way, everything that I'm telling you will be developed fully with the input of the community. So one question that people have asked me is, well, what sort of benefits and all of those things. So we've got a lot of ideas, like we're going to run campaigns, engagement campaigns and all that, and people will benefit. But part of the issue that we see with a lot of these projects is, the project is running these campaigns and it doesn't really resonate with the community. So they'll get involved and make a little bit of money, but it doesn't push the project forward. So how do you push the project forward and reward your community? Well, you work with your community to figure out what things you should do. So that's how it's going to be done. It's community-based. It's coming out of the community. And we think, as we're seeing already, we'll get a lot more engagement, right? A lot more excitement from the community by doing that.
Awesome. Yeah, so as you know, David, and I think a lot of people listening right now probably have the same questions I'm going to ask you here. As we know, if we're looking at Doxxed tool and just all these coins that recently launched, a lot of it has to do with Trump and politics and mainly Republican. What differentiate you guys, you think?
Got it. Great question, man. That is an amazing question. So, yeah, most of the tokens are meme tokens looking to capitalize on Trump's name, right? There was a token that got launched, I think it's DJT, and it went to the moon, and everyone, there's this, it's Trump. No, it's Trump's son, Barron, and it's all that, great. This is a project that's designed to be a long-term, consistently growing project. This is not designed to be a meme token that's here today and gone tomorrow, right? Does that mean that we don't want to have explosive growth? We want to have explosive growth, and we're doing everything to make that happen. But this is about long-term growth and a long-term project. We've released it in such a way where we can coincide with outside events, like the debate that just happened, and like, the next debate and all these things. Trump's going to be consistently in the news, and a lot of Republicans, and we'll be able to get those Republicans. It's going to be a close election likely. And so those Republicans are going to have to go out and find any opportunity to spread what they're talking about so we can benefit from that. But how are we different? Well, if the closest comparison I would say is Maga, but Maga is a one-trick pony, right? Maga is about donations, and Maga is about group of guys. And again, I love the project, but it's about a group of guys with an agenda, and we want to create a project that feeds to that agenda. What Republican Coin is about empowering the community, so all of our agendas get focused on it. See, it's not just about us having an idea and saying, hey guys, you need to do this. It's like, what ideas do we have collectively now that we've got this fast growing community, and we can aim that community towards something? So it's not a meme token. It's a community based token. So that's the same elements of a meme token. But what we're saying is, if you look back in the last bull run, you had a lot of blockchains that were launching that were everything to everyone. Right? We do everything. We're great. Doesn't matter what kind of project you have, come and be on our blockchain. Now, most of the new blockchains have a very specific focus. We are great for DeFi. We are great for DePIN. We are great for gaming projects. We believe that you have all of this energy. So you've got all this energy. If you look at our chats, as I mentioned, they're flying. If you're in that chat, it's just flying, flying, flying. We want to take that energy and focus it to something. That's what Republican Coin is about. Great, everyone's got this frustration and this energy. So that's how we're different. We've taken the time to create a platform that allows you to take that focus energy and use it for your own benefit, being involved with the project, but also for the benefit of you, your family, your kids, your community, and making a better world, a world that we all want to see. So that's the difference. I don't know any project in the entire crypto space that's doing that besides us.
Love it. Well said. And I can definitely sense the passion in you. Very good speaker also, by the way.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'm excited.
That is awesome, man. Now, let's talk about, do we have, are there any vested token left that our community should know about?
Are there any vested, I'm sorry, ask me that question again, please.
Are there any vesting token left? Like, did you pay any influencers?
No. So yes, the answer to that is no. There are no vested tokens. There are no token unlocks coming. We did a fair launch. So no one has to worry about any of that. I'll give you our tokenomics. So 40% went to pre-sale, 20% went to liquidity, 10% to marketing and partnerships, 10% to team and advisors, and 20% is set aside for CEX listings. And I could break that down even more, but with regard to CEX listings, because that's been a consistent question, I'd like to, I'm not saying we have to talk about it now, but I'd like to talk about that when we have a second. But that's our tokenomics.
Okay, sounds good. And what market cap was it at launch?
That's a good question. Because I'm in Asia, it's difficult for me to be up at these crazy times, but I think it was somewhere in the 300,000 range, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's still almost 2x currently right now. So everyone's in profit at launch pretty much. So, okay. So that's
correct.
Great.
Yes. Yeah. And you know how it goes, right? A lot of people, look to get out. I've explained to people, the way the projects go, people get in pre-sale, and a lot of people are just, here to make a profit, and that's fine. But we are focusing on our long-term community.
That is awesome. Yeah, so I think that's actually very crucial that you guys are here for the long haul, because as we know, and I mentioned earlier, there's so many different Trump tokens out there, and they're just trying to capitalize on the wave and squeeze any dollar they can and get out, right? Because the barrier to launching a coin is very, very low. That is the issue around here. So I'm glad that you guys are here for the long haul. And I think it's a good narrative, right? It's a good narrative as long as you have a good team behind it and you stay committed. Because within the crypto, it goes up, it goes down. But I think, most importantly is I think with this bull run coming up here, I think conviction is going to be the narrative, right? Convictions. So what I mean by that is you find a good team. I always invest in a team. You find a good team, a good narrative, a good community, and you stay. You make the commitment to the team, right? And I think that's what this bull run here. I think the majority of people is going to be look for that narrative, right? It's not about the idea anymore, because you have so many people bouncing around now, and I think people sort of realize that does not make you money, right? That does not make you money. You want to believe in the team when you find a good team, and you have to have the conviction, the project, and I think that's what's people are going to look for here in this bull run.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's interesting. I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and they're like, "Oh man, you guys aren't doing enough." And I said, wait a second, we were #1 trending on Pinksale for virtually 5 days. Like, how could that happen? You think that just happened? We are busting our butts. And then I laid off to him just the things we did yesterday, right? Yesterday we had a YouTube video released by a YouTuber with 150,000 followers. We did an AMA with Mad Apes, which is one of the biggest TG crypto groups. Fantastic. We did calls. We did Doxxed trending. We did Solana trending. We did other TG calls. We're doing it. But here's the thing. We're in a very bad market right now, right? As a trader, we don't know where we're going. We could dip down into the 50s here, and people are reluctant, right, to jump all the way in. I understand that. And I agree with you where what you should be focused on. People are smarter, and they're going to look for good teams, good ideas, execution, people that stay with it. So I tell people, you're in early and you're in at a good time. We're not going anywhere, right? We believe in this vision so much, and we're consistently market. We have 2 AMAs tomorrow, right? So we're out there and we're pushing. And behind the scenes, a lot of people are reaching out to us and saying, man, I really love what you guys are doing. Get to this point, get out of that gray zone area where, that early time, it's been, less than 10 days. Let me make sure that you're really here, but I want to support what you're doing. So we're committed to that. And, again, for me and my money, when I'm investing and, time is money, it's about dealing with people who are making sense when they talk to you, right? We didn't launch this thing with hey guys, we're going to try to reach and we hope and all this. We're launching with people who have direct access. And when I talk about Fabian, he's putting his career on the line to launch a token that hadn't even launched yet. So, those are really, really good signs. But we all demanded it as a community. We did so much work, this team, before we launched this project. You can never tell how the market is going to be when you launch. But like I said, it didn't concern us at all. It's like we know we have something that's going to resonate with people. And, it's interesting, Seattle, because, talking with you, it's like me talking to all my friends. Like, what happened? Like, where did all of those things that we know are like good things, like, where did they all go? And then how do we bring them back? Right? So I don't have to convince you of what I'm talking about. I just have to, and if I can point it and say, look, man, 120,000 people decided that they wanted to make a frog like the biggest meme token, the hottest meme token, in the world, and they did it. Now imagine if that money that they all made, they agreed, we're going to take a portion of what we're doing and we're going to cause change. Right? That's not me talking. That resonates with everyone. So, again, part of our focus is just to keep going and to keep the community motivated and letting them know, we're here for everyone. Everyone has to be in. Whether you're a Democrat, whether you're an independent, whether you're a Republican, listen to what we're saying. I'm not telling you to change parties. I'm saying, a Democrat came to me. He's like, well, aren't you worried about creating an echo chamber? I don't create echo chambers, right? I tell people the truth, right? I'm not sitting here advocating for anything that I don't believe in. But at the same time, as you can probably tell, I'm open to hear anyone's point of view. You have a solution. I don't care what party you're in. You've got a solution. It can't just be about bashing people and all that. Got to be some action. That's what's going to make a better world for my kids. So, how do we do that? We create a platform that allows for all of those things. Let's have some debates in Rep Talks with reputable people, not arguing. Let's talk about solutions. Boy, that's a great idea. I never thought about that. Or I never knew that. Man, that makes me think about this thing completely differently. So, again, that's the foundation of all of this, and building out the tools and getting the people involved. And, like I said, we've talked with a bunch of people. Everybody's resonating with it. We just have to keep it up. We just got to keep it up. Just keep going, and we will.
And I think, the point that you just mentioned there, just allow a space where you foster inclusivity, right? Different ideas, etc. Now, the problem with what we've seen lately is that, especially in social media like Facebook, etc., right? you have whether that's Democratic or Republican Party, and everyone is doing just pretty much posting negativity about the other side. Well, why can't you post something good about your side? Let me hear something good about your side, and maybe hopefully, I can change my mind, right? But you constantly see just people talking shit about the other side. That does not help at all, right?
No.
So I love the fact that you guys trying to have that inclusivity and hear different ideas, etc., right? And come with a solution.
Thank you, Seattle. Can I tell you why that happens? Happens when you go on Facebook and you see all of this? Okay, so I mentioned to you that I was going to start a social network. And the reason I was because I was so frustrated with Facebook. I had this idea that this thing was going to change the world. And then this thing got created. So think about the idea around Facebook, right? Facebook says, come here, make friends, bring your friends, have a good time. It's your space, right? But what they do is they allow all of these unfiltered opinions to just do whatever they want. And when you create that, you create chaos. Now, Facebook's business model isn't about quality content. It's about putting whatever you're saying and whatever you're doing next to advertising, right? And giving people that data. So Facebook doesn't care whether you and I are hating each other, loving each other, having a productive conversation. They don't care as long as we're arguing. I could even think, Seattle, that they would prefer to have us arguing because those are longer arguments, more advertising, right? So when people say to me, well, David, social media, you can design a platform that just doesn't promote that. But Facebook doesn't have any interest in not promoting it. Why stop you and me arguing Trump and Biden when they're making money? So how do you get around that? You create a platform that's designed to cause change, to take action. Doesn't mean, well, you're talking about limiting free speech. Everyone has to limit free speech. When you see people talking about, well, I'm going to have a platform, you can say whatever you want. No, you're not. You're not going to have a platform that's of any size and substance. But what you have to do is convince people, let me tell you why we're here. We're here to cause change. That's beneficial to everyone. We don't have to agree on everything. We just have to agree that there's a problem and we want to work together to solve it. So I'm excited to take that part on, right? Because that's an extensive mission that I've been on for a long time and I've seen it. Like I said to you, I deal with people from 50, 60 different countries. I've never gotten into a race argument or an argument about what, you're from Nigeria, I can't talk to you. It's never happened to me in crypto. Never. Why is that? Because there's this bigger thing that we're all looking at, which is change. Right? There's this bigger thing. Man, I could come here and change my life for my family and be a part of it. I tell people, yeah, part of it's financial. But if it was only financial, Seattle, and you had to go back out there in that world, you'd be horrified. It's about saying, hey, let's come together and cause some change. So this is one of the reasons why I think something like this has to happen in crypto. And as people start looking at what they're doing, yeah, you might have a great Twitter channel, you might have a great YouTube channel, but you don't have this kind of a channel where you can come in and have a healthy conversation that, again, helps you to get things done. So, yeah, that's why you see this, this consistent arguing. I can't even go on Facebook anymore, right? Because anything I post, I'm offending someone. And Facebook isn't concerned about me or my well-being, or maybe I'm saying something. They won't you can't have a platform where you're not filtering out things. You got to do it. And people have to understand that filtering is in their best interest, not ours. Right? We're not going to do things to make more money off you. We're going to do things to help you along, to help you generate more money.
No, 100%. I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. Having ran ad on Facebook probably over 300K. I definitely know what you mean, right? They're all about engagement.
Yeah.
So everything that you actually type or do, they actually record. It's like a little folder, right? David or Seattle likes this, Seattle mentioned this. And so what they do is that once they gather your info, then they sell back to the businesses that run advertisement based off that search word or whatever that the word is. And that's how they make the money. They're very smart, actually, very smart. And that's what I love about crypto. That's what I love about Web3 is that, and somebody needs to build a Web3 social media. Because right now, everything is monopolized. Everything is, Facebook gets everything 100%, right? 100% of everything, even YouTube, etc. Well, you have some share model out there, but for the most part, it's not being shared like the cryptocurrency, the Web3. I'm still surprised that no one has built something like that yet, right?
Well, it's interesting. People are trying, right? Me knowing that business really well, I can see, like, I've talked to a bunch of those projects. They've come to us and said, and I haven't found one yet to me that's exciting. I'm of the belief that, we're in an innovation space. So when you come up with an idea, you can't come and say, listen, I'm going to do a better version of Facebook, right? It's like TikTok, right? TikTok grew because it wasn't Facebook. It wasn't YouTube. It was something completely different. And all of the models that I've seen are saying, hey, we're going to be Facebook, but we're not going to control your data. Well, newsflash, like, no one's leaving Facebook because Facebook controls their data. And there's a real reason why they're not, right? Because if I gave you your data, so what? You see what I'm saying? So you can control your data. Well, okay, that the data is not valuable to me. It would be a smarter model, in my opinion, where if you said, look, I'm going to access your data and you're going to benefit from that. That's the model. So when people come to me, I'm like, okay, so great. You're telling people we're not going to take your data. How are you going to generate any revenue without taking the data? I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's top 5 wealthiest people in the world from data. So you're going to take this business model that's just like his and you're going to take out the data. How are you going to replace that revenue? The streaming costs for Facebook must be, it's got to be $2 or $3 billion a month just to have everybody see all that stuff on Facebook. How are you going to pay for that? Right? So there's a way to do it. There's a smart way to do it. And yeah, I'm excited. Who knows? We might do it. We might create something like that where I've often said, if Mark Zuckerberg wanted to become the most powerful person in the world, he'd give away half of what he owns of Facebook to his community, to the Facebook community. Could you imagine if he did that? It would be the most powerful project in the world. So, that's what Web3 allows you to do. It's community focused. But yeah, that's what I see. But, again, it starts with creating a platform at its core that has these features and values that really speak to what your agenda is. And that's what I say to people, because I've gotten in arguments with people at Facebook about this. And I said, you can tell what something is by what it does. You can't tell me that that's a microwave and it's freezing my food. You can call it whatever you want. So when I say about Facebook, when I say they're not interested in bringing people together, I've lost real friends that were friends before I got on Facebook when I got on Facebook. Oh, David, I didn't know you thought like that. I mean, how does that happen on a platform that, where we're having conversations? Because the platform doesn't have the agenda, right? Again, to focus on these other areas that are important to everyone. Bring the world together. If you look at my Facebook feed, you'll see some kids in Africa went into a landfill, a garbage dump, found all of this junk, put it together, and lit up their village. They built electricity. And then if you scroll 3 or 4 hours later, you'll see that there's a village in Africa that doesn't have any electricity. Why doesn't Facebook's algorithm put those two groups together? Like, if I can see it, it's like, dude, scroll. How do I get you guys to scroll back 4 hours? Because I saw the solution. Isn't that what Facebook should be doing? Like, putting that together. What doesn't your algorithm do that rather than putting me next to, because I said that I'm looking to buy a new laptop, now I see laptops for the next 3 weeks? Like, really? That's all this is? That's all it is. So we create something different with purpose, Seattle.
I love it, man. I love it. Where are you at right now, David? What country are you in right now?
I am in Southeast Asia. I've been, so I was, as I mentioned, a consultant going all around the world. I got brought out here, and I'm a firm believer that you should go where you are most comfortable and happiest. And when I decided where I wanted to live, and let me back up. The reason that is because then you'll be the best person you could be. So when I felt like I was seeing a lot of what you're seeing in the United States, and I'm one of these people, as you can probably tell, I couldn't deal with it. And it's better for me to be outside and looking at it than to be in the middle of it. And so I'm much more effective. Like, I've still got property and my family and all that sort of stuff, and I'm there all the time. But it's better for me to be here. I'm as American as anyone you will ever speak to, and I love my country. And I believe, when America leads, the whole world is a better place. But I'm a better person being here. I'm a calmer person. I'm a more focused person. You can tell I'm one of these people. I'm very organized. I'm multitasking. So yeah, I found that being out here just works better for me. And I've encouraged a lot of people, hey man, travel. I've been to 46 countries. So I tell people travel and find the place that, that fits you. It's not going to mess with your identity, but it'll make you a better, more productive, a happier person. And happy people don't hurt people. So yeah, so I'm here.
Love it. Happy people, good people. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, David. Well, you're a great speaker, and I think you articulated the project very well. We've run up to an hour and a half now. Is there anything that you want to speak on? Is there a last thing you want to speak on before we take some questions?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Seattle. It's been a great conversation with you. This is the best AMA I've had in a long time, and I really appreciate you. And I'm glad to be talking to someone, like myself about this, because you understand. Look, this is not about bashing anyone. This is about, trying to get it right. Crypto creates an ability for us to get it right. And, we need to use this forum to cause change, right? Because like I said, if you just come here and make some money and you got to go back out into that world, you've missed the biggest opportunity. The biggest opportunity is, however all of this got created, right? Even with this whole social component of it, it came together in such a way where we are proving our power. Like I always tell people, don't count out what's possible when you're doing it every day. Like they've tried to kill us again and again and again and again, and we just keep getting stronger. And now the biggest financial institutions in the world capitulated. All right, we're selling this stuff. I just heard today that it's in the air that we're going to have a Solana ETF. This is the biggest financial institutions in the world. BlackRock's got $11.3 trillion under management. And they led the Bitcoin and the and the Ethereum ETFs. So what should happen while you're here? You should learn, educate, make friends. I got friends all around the world, many who have come and visited me in person. Make friends, get a lot of these things that you've learned, taken away. Boy, I thought this person was like this, and I know 10 people from that country, and they're nothing like that. Come together and do important things. This is at the foundation of what we're doing with this project. We want to do important things. We found something with the Republican Party that has a platform that's about getting things done, that aligns with our values, our core values, that aligns with crypto. And we took those core values and created a platform that's about action. It's not about talking. It's not about complaining. It's about taking action to cause change. So I'm excited to be here, as you can tell, and we're right at the beginning. Like I said, we've been here before. None of us are going to get upset about anything. We've seen good, bad, and ugly, and we've worked through all of it. We're expecting all these things to happen with this project, but we are going to take this project. Our agenda is huge, and our agenda is to build a community that benefits every step of the way. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, and I can sense the passion in your voice, and also I can sense the leadership in you as well. And I think that just comes from your background in business, as an entrepreneur. So that's a great quality to lead any project, especially a crypto project, right? Because you need a good leader, not just on the Web 2, but Web 3 as well. And I can sense that. Yeah. Now we do have a lot of questions, David.
All right, let's go.
Now, a lot of the questions have actually been answered already, but I'm actually going to read a few questions, okay? And actually, the first question is actually very interesting. I never seen a question like this before, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Kind of funny, okay. But it says, how did the team manage to attract a significant amount of investment over 1,600 SOL during the Fairlaunch on Pinksale? A very good question.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So, as I mentioned, we hoped that the market would go up and go through that 72, and we hoped it wouldn't go down and fall below that 66, which is a strong support level for Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it fell below. And a lot of the marketing, so we had marketing strategies set up, but we were really going to like slowly roll them into, because we've gotten a lot of interest about the token. Like people found out about it and they were reaching out, hey, you guys I'm hearing about this. So we thought we were going to be able to sort of slow market. But when that happened, it was like, okay, guys, now we got to really, 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 really push. And what you learn about crypto is it's all about momentum and creating momentum. You got to be careful though, right? Because, everyone hollers for marketing. You guys need to do this. You guys need to. There are times where people just don't respond. Like we're in one of those times now. We did a ton of marketing yesterday and the price of the token still went down, right? So it's not just about marketing. It's about smart marketing and learning as you go. Like how do people respond to what we're doing? So we tried everything. So what we did during that pre-sale was we condensed the amount of time and we went, let's try this, let's try that. And whatever was working, we just poured it on. If it was YouTubers, pour it on. If it's, Twitter guys of a certain type, pour it on. We just push. I think the team was averaging 3 hours sleep because we wanted to get this thing off to a good start. So it's just a lot of work, a lot of experience. Along the way, we've gathered a lot of resources, right? So we know we've cut through a lot of, is this guy real? You gotta remember, when you're talking about marketing, like as I've been sitting here, I probably had 15 different people coming to me. Hey, David, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got this. I got to go through all of these people because there's, like I say, you could have 100 and there's only one, but that one is a gem. Hey, man, I got a group. Like the great example is me being here, right? When I got contacted by Claire and it was like, hey, I got this community and I looked at it and I saw the eagle. I was like, this is great. Now I got to do all my research. Is this real? Are you really connected with the community? Blah, 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 blah. We're great at that. Along the way, you gather resources. Like now I've got you guys, you're in my database. So we're gonna create a long-term relationship to help you thrive as we thrive at the same time. So yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot of all hands on deck, a little bit of sleep. My poor girlfriend was like, where are you going? I was like, honey, I gotta work. Like we gotta make this thing go. And it just took off. And what happens in this industry is I think there's this initial part where they're like, what is this? Is it a scam? Are these guys real? Is it a rug pull? It's all of those things, which is appropriate, right? More than 90% of these projects don't have a chance when they launch, right? Those are the numbers. So you need to have all of these protection mechanisms for yourself. But we wanted to work through that. And it was great because we had real people, right? We did the things on Pinksale, like we KYC'd and we, locked the liquidity. We did all the things that Pinksale, and let me tell you, if you go through and say to Pinksale, we want every protection mechanism you have, they put you through the ringer. They really gave us a difficult time, but we did it to show the community we're serious about what we're doing. This is not just some, pump and dump or scam or, we don't know what we're doing. So we did all the things right. And I think, people were resonating with it. And if you look at a lot of the other tokens that were trending, they were all, just flash in the pan type tokens. We were different.
Well said. So hard work and keep pouring gasoline in the areas that work.
That's right.
All right.
That's
so
right.
The second question, I think you put a lot of emphasis on this topic already, but we're going to go ahead and just do a quick recap here for Ken here. Ken asked, can you explain the governance structure of Republican Coin and how do token holders participate in the decision-making process?
Got it. Thank you for that. So that is, as I mentioned, we're a community token. And I believe, having been in projects that were DAOs and governments and all that sort of stuff, see what happens with a lot of those projects is you might start out and say, we're going to create a DAO and the DAO is going to run the project. But then you have this structure where someone might have a lot of tokens, so they have an undue influence over what's being said and done in the project. So that's what you had before, right? So what our idea is we want to go within the community and figure out, like, what's the best structure? What should we do in order to set that up? It's going to start with, and it's going to lean heavy on initially what we're thinking, but we want to take in people's ideas, and we want to show you that as we take in your ideas, we integrate them. And from that, doesn't matter, we talk about government structure and all that. The community can't do this. I haven't seen anything, and I don't believe that there's anything to take away like those same things that we're trying to run away from. Boy, this guy has way too much influence. It's got to do, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about social media platforms, it's got to do with the intention of the group. See, our intention is to have people fully engaged in what we're doing. Well, how do you do that? You do it by getting them fully engaged in what you're doing, not by dictating, by bringing them in. Now, again, there's got to be order and there's got to be hierarchy, and that'll all happen. But we'll develop this government structure in a way that resonates with the community. For me, I think one of the best government structures in crypto is Aave. They have a fantastic community and operating community. And I'll give you an example of how that manifests itself. So when Aave came out with version 3, one of the big things in crypto is everyone wants to have everything, on the blockchain, public knowledge. You can look at anything, you can blah, 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 blah. It's great. Everyone can see everything. But the problem is, there's a couple of problems. Number 2, you're putting out all of your code. So you develop this great platform and you put the code out there, right? And everyone can see it. Now what you've got is hackers who are trying to hack it. That's why you see all these bridges getting hacked, because they can see the code and figure out how to do it. That's a problem. The second thing is you will have people with bad intentions take your exact code and put it out there and scam people. It took you 3 months, 6 months to create. It takes them 2 days to create. And they can even come up with a name that looks like yours. And I know because I've been scammed like this. And they get in and they've taken you got to sit there. And then they come into your chat and go, hey, man, I thought it was you. So what Aave did was they took a vote and they said, should we make our code public? And the community said no. And I think it's brilliant. So this is what I mean. We have to gauge the sentiment of the community. We got to talk with them about these things. And then we set up a government structure around how all that operates rather than taking it out of a box. This is what we're doing. And by the way, that's not just for governance. That's for everything. That's how this is going to work. That's for everything. Hopefully I answered your question, and it's a great question. Appreciate it.
Very well said. All right, guys. So there are a lot of questions, but I'm going to go ahead and ask one more question. And I know David had touched on this point already, but we can go ahead and recap it again. The question is, could you outline some key features of the Republican coin token, a Solana blockchain? How does holding the token empower users to engage with Republican causes and leaders?
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you for that. Great question. So what we've done is we built a platform, right, that's designed when people are holding the token to be able to have access. So for instance, when I talked about Rep Talks, you'll be able to, if you're holding the token, get access to these speakers. And I guarantee you there will be some people that you just want to connect with. Having that token will allow you to do it, right? Similarly, these people are going to come into these chats that we have that, again, will be token gated. So you'll be able to not just ask them questions, you'll be able to interact with them. We don't want these people to come and run. We want these people to come and stay in and be a part of our community, right? So there's that part of it. Again, what we envision going forward is creating revenue streams, but the revenue streams, additional revenue streams that we're going to create, like Rep Talks, have to come out of us building out this project. So you'll get benefits by having that. You'll get benefits if you help us to build up the project and you come up with great ideas. You're going to be rewarded and awarded. So what I mean by that is maybe there's tokens in addition to that. Maybe there's stable coins in addition to that. Maybe there's some way that we acknowledge you. People don't only get motivated because you give them money. People want to be recognized for things that they've done. It doesn't happen often enough. I'm always telling projects when I'm consulting them, you know what? Recognize that person. That person said something brilliant. When you do your AMA, call that person out, right? The person was so concerned about the project that they did something. I've been in projects where people have stopped, for instance, going to a version 2 because the communities looked at the token and said, wait a minute, there's a problem in the code. Don't launch it. That's from the community. So what I do is I go to that person and say, hey, listen, what can we do for you? And it's interesting. It's hardly ever that they want money. They just want to be acknowledged. So a lot of those things are built into the project and the use cases that we're building out. And we want to find many more that the community resonates with. So again, I mentioned Rep Talks. I mentioned our donation arm, where you might be able to help us steer donations to causes that you want, right? If you hold a token. And I mentioned, our awards den, where we're going to award and reward people. So those are 3 that we set up now, and many, many more will come as we grow out this project.
All right. Very answer there, David. Sounds good, guys. So I appreciate all the questions there, guys. And I know there's a lot of questions that you guys input in the comment section. After this, though, I'm going to pin the TG in the Discord channel. Okay, if you guys go in there, join the TG, join the Discord, maybe send proof or something, right? Especially in Discord. And we will go there and pick a winner there as well. David, pleasure having you here, man. Seems like you're a great leader. And I think that, again, that came from your experiences as an entrepreneur. And I think you guys are doing some good work here.
Thank you. Thank you, Seattle. Thank you, USA Crypto Group community, for having me and having us here. You guys are appreciated. I think what you guys are doing here is great. I mean, we started out with about 136 people. We got 138 after, an hour and almost 45 minutes of me running my mouth. I appreciate that. We are honored to be in this industry and to be able to interact with so many people. We are very respectful of people who put their time and money into things that we're doing, and we will honor that over time. Know that if you come and join our community, buy into our community, be a part of our community, you will be respected, you will be treated well, and you will have a team that is working hard all the time. Tomorrow we're having an AMA in I think it's going to be a Telegram with Fabian Garcia. So you'll get a chance to see him, to listen to him, and to hear his enthusiasm about causing change and about why he joined Republican Party. He's excited to do it. We're excited to have him. We're at the beginning of something amazing, and something you said, Seattle, at the beginning, which is, you want to invest in teams, not just an idea. Anyone can have an idea. How are you going to pull that off? Great. That's fantastic. How? We've got the how figured out, and we're doing it. We're not talking. We're doing it. It's going to get bigger and bigger and better. The timing is ideal because this election cycle is going to push all of these issues right in the middle. And we're right there. And so we think it's a great time to be involved. With the coming parabolic part of the bull run, we think this is going to go parabolic with that next bull run and even sooner than that. So we're excited. Come and join us. Come listen. If your questions haven't been answered, please feel free. You can hit me on a DM, or you can go into the chat, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. And again, I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, by the way, Seattle. You've been fantastic, man.
Appreciate it, David. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So, David, usually we do a $15 giveaway for a listener. So if you don't mind, go ahead and pick a winner. So that way it comes from you. So just scroll down and pick one random person that's listening for $15.
You got it. Okay, I'm scrolling, and I'm going to pick. Let's see. I'm going to pick. Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot here. I'm going to pick Orange Lagoon.
Orange Lagoon. If you don't mind it, David, go ahead and click the username and then send it to me in DM. I appreciate that, brother.
Okay, how would I do that? All right. Here we go. Send message. Okay, I'm gonna
profile. Yeah.
View profile. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll send that to you in a DM. Wait, hang on a second before we go. I don't have your DMs, but let me make sure I get that. Orange Lagoon. Hang on a second.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna open up the room, and once the room is open, we didn't just for fun, just random number. We have like around 125 listeners here, so 130, 1 to 150. Okay, just 5 guesses only, and if you guess the number correctly, you also win another $10. On top of that, if you guys join the Discord and TG, I will pin that as well. And Mike or Johnny will go there, or even Claire, or one of the team members will go there and pick a winner as well. And I know there's a lot of questions that we cannot get to. again, guys, this AMA is not financial advice, okay? Educational purposes only. Make sure you do your own research accordingly. And so with that being said, David, again, thank you so much. And I will be following your journey. I will join your rooms. Yeah, good luck with your journey, brother. And I think you guys are on a great mission.
Thank you, Seattle. And yeah, we'll be back. I want this to be a long-term relationship because there's a lot of commonalities between what you guys are doing and what we're doing. And like I said, we're about helping everyone to grow. So we're going to be back and we're going to do things to help this community and the journey that you guys are on. Appreciate you having us here, man. Lots of great stuff ahead. You know, yeah, and if you have a chance, go and take a listen to Fabian. He's a great speaker and he's passionate and he's just an amazing, amazing guy. So if you have some time, please come in and take a listen and you'll hear more about what we're about.
For sure, and I will ping your TG after this. Yeah, for sure. Let's keep in contact. Yeah, and I think we have a lot of things to talk about.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.